Welcome to Classlise, where English flows not from grammar books, but from life itself.
Beautifully said. And today's episode, it's all about how you listen and how you react, the heartbeat of real English.
We're walking through 15 everyday moments, not textbook drills, but the real, unpredictable human stuff.
Some of them are awkward, some surprisingly sweet, but all of them, powerful listening practice.
Let's dive into scenario 1. You're sitting alone at a cafe. A stranger asks, "Mind if I sit here?"
Your brain hesitates. You want to sound friendly, but not too casual. Try this. Sure, go ahead. It's all yours.
Friendly, warm, open. That moment, you've already won.
Scenario 2. You're in an elevator. Someone turns and says, "Crazy weather, huh?"
Classic small talk. You could nod awkwardly or say, "Totally. I didn't expect the rain at all."
Now you're in the game. You're responding, not retreating.
Scenario 3. You're checking out at the store. The cashier says something fast, maybe any bags, or have a nice one, but it's a blur.
Don't panic. Just smile. Sorry, could you say that again?
That sentence? Pure gold. You're not stuck. You're engaged.
All right, scenario 4. You're walking in the park. Someone's dog runs up to you. The owner shouts, "Don't worry, he's friendly."
What's your move?
Laugh. Oh, it's okay. He surprised me, but he's cute.
Natural, not scripted, real reaction in real time.
Here's scenario 5. You're sitting next to someone on a flight. They ask, "First time visiting?"
You've got options. You could nod, or, "Not my first, but I still get excited." You?
You've opened the door to a real conversation. That's how language grows.
Let's take a breath, Lily.
Inhales deeply. These tiny moments, they shape your fluency. Not because they're difficult, but because they're real.
Exactly. No grammar charts, no memorized phrases, just attention and honesty.
Scenario 6. You're in a meeting. Someone says something, but you don't understand their accent.
Sensitive situation.
Try this. "Sorry, could you repeat that last part? I want to make sure I understood."
Respectful, clear, courageous.
Scenario 7. You're invited to a dinner party. People are laughing at a joke. You didn't catch it.
Laugh softly, then say to the person next to you, "Wait, what did they say? I missed it."
That's what fluent people do. They stay connected.
Scenario 8. You're checking into a hotel. The staff says, "You've been upgraded," but you're not sure what they mean.
Ask directly, "Upgraded as into a bigger room?"
That confirms meaning without confusion.
Language is less about knowing every word and more about responding wisely.
Beautifully put, Lily.
Scenario 9. You're walking downtown. Someone stops you and says, "Hey, do you know where the library is?"
Even if you're not sure, "I think it's down that street, near the cafe, but I'm not 100%.
Honest, helpful human.
Scenario 10. You're at a party. Someone says something unclear. You didn't hear, or maybe you didn't understand.
Try, "Wait, what was that? That sounded interesting."
That invites connection. You're not afraid to ask again.
And now you're doing what confident speakers do. Not pretending to understand, but staying in the moment.
10 scenes in. How are we feeling?
Honestly, inspired, because these aren't big moments, but they're everything.
If you master how to react, you master the rhythm of English.
And the rhythm of connection.
So shall we keep going?
Part 2 is waiting, and trust me, it goes deeper. Okay, let's keep going. Scenario 11. You're buying coffee. The barista says something like, "Want that for here or to go?" But it sounds like one fast word.
Happens a lot. You blink. What did they say? But instead of freezing, you smile. "Sorry, was that to go or something else?"
Boom. Just like that, you're back in control. No shame, no fear.
12. You're helping someone with directions, but they say, "Can you walk me there?" Maybe you're not comfortable. So say, "I'm actually heading the other way, but I can point it out."
You're helpful, without saying yes to something uncomfortable.
Fluency includes boundaries.
Okay, this next one's personal. Scenario 13. You're in a new place. Someone tells a joke. Everyone laughs, but it feels a bit off. Maybe even rude. You pause, then say, "I'm not sure I got the joke. Could you explain it?"
That puts the spotlight back on them, gently.
It makes people think twice, respectfully.
Language is power, but also protection.
Scenario 14. You're at a dinner table. Someone says, "So what do you think about what happened last night?" You have no idea what they're talking about.
Say, "Sorry, I missed that. What happened last night?"
Simple, honest keeps the flow going.
Scenario 15. Someone gives you a compliment. Like, "Hey, your English is really natural."
And you say, "Thanks, that means a lot. I've been practicing."
Never downplay your progress. Own it. Celebrate it.
All right, we've walked through 15 real-life scenarios.
But now let's go deeper.
Yes, because reacting is not just about words, it's about reading people, reading situations.
Think of it like music. Sometimes the silence between words is more important than the words themselves.
Oof, I felt that.
Let me ask you something, Lily.
Go on.
Have you ever had a moment when you understood everything someone said, but still didn't know how to answer?
Laugh softly. Oh, any times.
That's what this episode is really about. Not just hearing English, but living in it.
Being present, responding with heart.
And courage, because fluency isn't just vocabulary, it's vulnerability.
Let me tell you a quick one. I was in Spain. I asked a woman at the market if she sold oranges. She looked confused. Then she laughed and said, "Yes, but those are grapefruits."
Laughs close enough.
I could have been embarrassed, but instead, I laughed too and said, "I guess I need new glasses or new words."
That one sentence probably made her day.
It turned a mistake into a memory.
Language loves honesty, and people respond to it.
Sante, let's go micro for a second.
I'm listening.
Every time someone says, "Excuse me," or "Sorry," or "Could you repeat that?" they're not showing weakness, they're showing care.
Yes, because they're saying, I want to get it right.
That's real fluency, not faking understanding, but seeking clarity.
Let's bring in one more layer.
Okay.
Reacting also means knowing when not to speak.
Wow.
Imagine someone tells you, I just lost someone important.
You don't say, "Oh, that's too bad. That's too flat."
You say, I'm so sorry, that must be really hard. Then pause. Let silence do the rest.
That is fluency with emotion.
And it's what sets great communicators apart.
So whether it's a cafe, a flight, a dinner party, or a tough conversation,
listening and reacting shapes your English more than any grammar lesson ever will.
You don't have to be perfect.
Just present.
And that, dear listener, is where your fluency begins.
Part 3 is coming. And trust me, it's where everything starts to twist. Okay, we've covered the basics, real-life scenes, reactions, emotion.
But now let's shake things up a bit.
Scenario 16, bonus round. You're in a taxi. The driver's speaking quickly, telling you about traffic, shortcuts, politics.
Laughs, you understand, maybe half.
What do?
Smile, nod. Then say, "That's interesting. Could you repeat the part about the traffic?"
That simple sentence invites connection, even in chaos.
You're at a job interview. The manager asks, "Tell me about a time you handled pressure."
Oof, deep water.
You pause, breathe, then, "Sure. One time I had to finish a project with very little time. I stayed calm and focused and delivered."
Doesn't have to be fancy, just honest and structured.
And your tone matters more than the vocabulary.
Now let's twist harder. 18. You're talking to someone from a different culture. Their body language, their jokes feel unfamiliar.
A challenge, but also a gift. You lean in, you ask, "Is that a local saying? I'm still learning the fun parts."
That opens the door. You're not correcting, you're curious.
Teen. You're in a shop. The clerk says something fast like, "You want a receipt in the bag or with you?"
It sounds like one big blur.
But instead of freezing, "Sorry, was that about the receipt?"
Notice the pattern? Sorry's keyword, easy, elegant.
Okay, let's go deeper. Emotional twist.
I'm ready.
Scenario 20. A friend says, "You haven't replied to my text lately. What's going on?"
You weren't expecting that.
So you slow down. You say, "You're right. I've been overwhelmed. I didn't mean to ignore you."
That's powerful.
Honest reaction, not perfect words, just presence.
Language is relationship.
And relationships need repair sometimes.
Scenario 21. Someone criticizes your English. Maybe they laugh or repeat what you said jokingly.
Ouch, that hurts.
But don't shrink. Say, I'm still learning, but I'm proud of how far I've come.
Yes, that's strength.
Confidence is the real vocabulary.
Scenario 22. You're the only non-native speaker in a fast meeting. People talk over each other. You get lost.
Raise your hand. Say, sorry, could we slow down a little? I want to make sure I'm following.
Some may roll their eyes, but most, they'll admire your courage.
You just led by example.
Sante, these twists, they scare people.
I know, but fear is part of fluency.
Wait, say that again.
Fear is part of fluency.
Soft laugh, that's going in my journal.
If you never make a mistake, you're not learning. You're just performing.
And language isn't a performance, it's a dance.
Sometimes messy, always human.
Here's a cultural one. You're in a new country, you make a joke, people stare, silence.
Uh-oh.
Laughs. You recover with, okay, maybe that one works better in my country.
Humor saves the moment.
Or even just, oops, still learning the limits.
That earns smiles, maybe even laughter.
Sant, you know what I love?
Tell me.
That in every awkward twist there's a door, a chance, a pause where fluency is born.
And that pause, the one right before you speak, is everything.
That's where you find your rhythm.
And your voice.
So what do we do with all these moments?
We carry them. We learn from them. We use them.
Part 4 is next, and it's about reflection and renewal.
Because the journey's not over. It never really is.
So here we are, 4 parts, 15 moments, and 1,000 small emotions in between.
It's funny, isn't it? We started with simple questions like, is this the line? And ended up deep in culture, courage, and character.
Language has layers, and listening, it uncovers them one by one.
Let me ask you something, Lily. Which scenario hit you the hardest?
Honestly, the one about being the only non-native speaker in a fast meeting.
Why?
Because I've been there, feeling like I'm behind, like I have something to say, but no space to say it.
And what did you do?
I spoke up, slowly, clearly, and I said I'd like to add something, if that's okay.
Brave.
Scary, but worth it.
That moment, that's the moment you owned your English.
Okay, your turn. Which one sticks with you?
The taxi driver story. Not understanding, but still staying engaged.
You mean not giving up?
Exactly, because fluency is often just patience, trust, curiosity.
So many learners think it's about getting every word right.
It's not. It's about not walking away when you don't.
I want our listeners to remember this.
Go on.
If you respond with presence, you're already fluent, maybe not in grammar, but in humanity.
And humanity is where language starts.
I wish someone had told me that when I started learning.
Then maybe that's our job now.
Yes, let's say it again, clearly.
Dear listener,
if you're listening to this podcast, you're already growing.
If you've ever said sorry, can you repeat that? That's strength, not weakness.
If you've ever stayed in a conversation, even when you felt nervous, that's progress.
And if you've ever reacted with honesty, not just correctness, that's real fluency.
And if you've ever laughed off a mistake, you're fluent in the language of humility.
Let's leave them with some truths.
Okay, truth 1, listening is a skill, but it's also a gift.
Truth 2, reacting is not about fast answers, but real ones.
Truth 3, mistakes are not failures, they're invitations.
Truth 4, culture is a lens, not a barrier.
Truth 5, you don't need to sound perfect, you just need to sound present.
That last one, that's the core.
I want to end with something personal.
Please do.
When I started learning English, I thought my accent was a problem.
You were wrong.
I know. Now I see my accent is my story, my strength.
And every time you speak, that story reaches someone.
So, to everyone listening, don't hide your voice.
Don't wait until you feel ready.
Because you'll never feel ready until you start speaking.
And reacting, and listening, and living in the language.
That's why Classlise exists.
Not to make you perfect.
But to remind you that you already have everything you need.
Right here, in your ears, in your heart. Yes.
I think we've said enough today.
Then let's listen for a moment. Brief pause.
That silence, it speaks volumes.
Sometimes, the quiet is where understanding begins.
And where connection grows.
So wherever you are, in a cafe, on a train, walking alone, or sitting with a friend,
let English be your bridge.
Let it be messy. Let it be honest.
Let it be yours.
We're proud of you.
And we're right here, walking beside you.
Always, you've been listening to Classlise.
Where your ears lead your fluency.
Your courage fills the sentences.
And your story speaks louder than words.
Until next time,
keep listening.
Keep responding.
Keep living in English.